committee meeting to order. Attendance, all members of City Council, our mayor, law director, our finance director. First on the agenda is proposed legislation and discussion on proposed changes to 155.
Thank you. The proposed changes to 155 correspond to the changes that were made to the contract that have been settled up to now. 155.01. None of us are making the maximum now, but the maximum rate has been increased by the same percentage of the union. Under 155, I'll say for holidays. The 155 has 4 floating holidays, and there's approximately 6 days left from the union contract. So we're suggesting just make it 6 floating holidays, which gets them a little closer to the union people, but not as much, but we're okay. So that's a suggestion. Also, to match the contract during the last calendar year of the employee's pension retirement, they shall receive their full complement of holidays on January 1st. Again, not just the union contract. Sick leave to be cumulative, instead of 50% going to 75%. If you're here for 10 years of the first $1,500 hours. Family medical leave, which is 155.37. This is actually not in the contract, it just talks about family medical leave. And then what we're asking is that we add the sentence, if applicable, should the employee be out on medical leave, that they make arrangements to pay for their share of the health insurance premiums while they're on, because all employees are responsible for a percentage of health insurance, so it's just putting everybody in another pay, you gotta pay that. And 155.38, what we're suggesting is that we remove the 2020 and the 2021 percentages. Those years have come and gone. 2022, the employees pay 13%, the city pays 87%. What we'd like to add is that for 23, it would be the same, but effective for 24, the city will drop a percentage, the employees will pick up a percentage, and the following year, again, the city will drop one more percentage, and the employee will pick up another percentage. So by 2025, the employees will be paying 15%, and the city will be paying 85%. And then there is one last sentence in this paragraph that talks about the city will reimburse covered employees and their family members up to $75 a year for IGN, glasses, contacts, whatever was paid out of pocket. I'm asking that you consider putting that in there. It's something that the city has done since the law and before it didn't. I don't have any orders to do it. So I'm asking that we formalize that, that's all. Those are the changes that are suggested for 155.
That's right. All I have is the most of the things with the holidays. Like I said, I have all the unions have 18 total. 155 at 14. Some of them, like I said, have also 2 more holidays for them. Again, with the medical, it was a simple one. We just followed the contract with everyone. We use that up, and everything else will fall. But basically, housekeeping on our end with the wages again. So we don't have to keep coming back and extend it. We know we're no limit to max on any of these. We just want to look at it as when we 3 for the next 3 years, that we're at the max now. We don't have to keep changing that. And we usually do that every time the contract comes out. Just to highlight something like this. Is there any questions?
Yeah, the only question I have is it says section 1, that chapter 509 disorderly conduct and abuse disturbance of codified ordinances. Then you like that the following sections. What does 509 have to do with this?
I think Alyssa caught that. I'm looking at her emails on my phone this computer, but I made that recommendation to her. She emailed back and she caught it.
Okay.
So maybe
Yeah, no, it's not, but that's okay, no, that's the only real
Just
question.
email me back on the 18th, saying, thanks for putting that out.
Ah, I know, okay, thank you.
Is there any other questions?
So if you're adjusting like the holidays, when does this go into effect? Next year or just? January first. And I wrote, in here, effective, I didn't say January first, but I wrote effective January 2023, so.
Any other questions?
Just one more,
Right here.
I'm sorry, ours goes up as well, right, from 2024?
24, we're going into 23.
I know, that's what I mean, 24. I knew it up there somewhere. Okay,
Yeah,
that's what I
that's
thought.
24.
Okay.
Let's just change it again.
Yes.
It has to be a year, it has to be before any of us get in, right?
You could change it for the work people, you couldn't change it for the other.
Right.
I'm just messing with you guys.
Jeez.
All right, any other questions? Let's move it forward.
Yeah.
Brian?
Yes.
Short Street, let's move it forward. Next on the agenda is whole business, discuss allowing chickens into the city. We already are here.
They are indeed.
So, this came to us, like the last meeting from, building official, then to have some kind of direction on any kind of enforcement or anything we want to do. I looked up, Mayfield prohibits them, Lily may, where can we get, what's close on lines that are not allowed, but that might have changed just recently. Mary has 2 acres, and Willoughby has some stipulations that you can have them, but a maximum of 6, 2 has to be certain size, certain distance from property lines, stuff like that. So, what the committee would like to do.
I did the draft based on
Well,
Yeah.
which I just did, we already had, that's what I did. The draft, maybe the legislature, but it's drafting.
And that's what I suggest we go with it. I mean, I don't think we should outlaw, let's take a problem. You know, the people that always take care and do what they're supposed to do, the problem comes when we have the ones where we have the issues with right now to go over. So this gives Dave and us some clause to go in and say, look, you know, this is where it is now, you know, put the coop in instead of just putting a little fence around it and things like that. I mean, there's more in the city than you think. It's just a problem if we get calls from the ones that are just terrible. So, I mean, I think, you know, COVID brought out the people wanting to do these things with the chickens and other things. So, I mean, I'm for, you know, trying to model it slowly and then move on.
how far was Willoughby from the fence line? 40 feet or 20?
I think it's,
40.
was it 50? I'm looking now.
No, I think it was much less than that.
It wasn't, yeah.
It was much less than that.
I'm sorry, I'm looking on the phone.
Thank you. Sorry.
I'm looking on the phone.
And I think to just, everyone's aware too, it's not that we're necessarily looking to outlaw them, we're trying to give the building inspector and the police some direction, some little bit of teeth for enforcement, so to speak, so that, if there are.
The proposal that I did, I think, was based on Willoughby, it had 5 feet from the rear yard,
Yeah.
side of the rear yard line for them. There.
Yeah, just so that if there are, and again, America's all, we've had different department channels where we have, individuals that, are a bit excessive when it comes to the number of chickens and the care of the chickens and things. And this would just allow them to provide support. So.
The other point that I think is just 5 rates was the runoff. And
Right.
we updated that just to no ownership of it, when you deposit it, drain on your property.
So, any other comments from the committee?
No, I think the way that Randy wrote it was best we can do at this point. If it ever needs to be amended or we need to look at it again, we can do that, or we just get some kind of look, I don't know, before the winter.
Any other comments from council? Okay, move that forward. gentlemen, there's nothing miscellaneous. We'll conclude this ordinance meeting at 6:40.
having no fire. Hey, Superintendent, what's up?
Hi, how are you? The council of the whole committee meeting for November 22nd, 2022, in order at 7 p.m. All members from council are present. All members of the administration are present, except for our building official Dave Bender, that's an excuse. If anyone recording this meeting as a courtesy to the public, will you please identify yourself and your fellow attendees know that they're being recorded. Seeing none, city research recording this meeting. For legislation proposed, we have legislation number 11-22-01, an ordinance to appropriate the expenses of the city of East Lake, state of Ohio, for the period between January 1st, 2023, and ending December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency. Commissioner Duffy?
Thank you. This is what we call a temporary budget. You don't really see those words here, but that's how we operate. We must have some numbers in place on January 1st or no one gets paid. So therefore, what I have proposed here is the budget for this current year, less than capital improvements. And I've only put in about 3.5 months on these figures with a few exceptions. And I want to highlight, it would be about page 3, and it's Fund 204, SLFRS, that's the Captain Stadium. So I put a full 3.9 in there, because we really want them done by the 1st of April. So I expect that we're going to see the bulk of the check, or at least the ask for cash, coming through between now and then. Some of it will come through this year, but right now I haven't seen much. So that's one of the few exceptions. But realistically, this is a budget so that we can pay utilities, pay payroll in January, and then we start presenting the budget that you will vote on and discuss the end of January.
Are there any questions of the finance director? Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation number 11-22-02, an ordinance to reappropriate the expenses of the city of East Lake, state of Ohio, for the period between January 1st, 2022, and ending December 31st, 2022, and declaring an emergency.
Thank you. Under the general fund, which is the top graph or bar of ours, other expenses, those other expenses wash out to zero. We're just moving them from street maintenance to some city hall to some senior center. We're just doing a reallocation of those numbers. The East Lake Senior Center for personnel costs, as well as the 208 federal grants fund. We have had the ability to use someone that was being paid by a grant, but not fully paid by a grant. But for hours were charged to the grant. We've had the ability to have her assist a little at the senior center, and I would like to charge the senior center for those hours so that we have proper reporting of what the senior center cost us for the current year. So since I don't have December's numbers, I don't have December's hours, I just said, all right, let's allow $12,000 to be expended under the senior center. But realistically, maybe I should only deduct 8 other federal grants, because again, I'm not exactly sure where we'll end up by December 31st, but as the time is available for a person to help out at the senior center, then we'll at least be able to pick up the cost. The grant does not pay the full salary. In fact, the city puts in a substantial amount towards that grant. So either way, the city is paying for this person, this dollar amount of $12,000. It's just where we report it, and I'd like to report it at the senior center. Under the Fund 732 street opening deposits, I'd like to add $7,500 in expenses to be returned, because we had significantly more street opening deposits received. Should they ask for the money in December, I'd be really, really close to maybe having to postpone a check or two, and I thought just, hey, if the money came in, let's just give it back, because that's what they asked for, and it truly is a deposit account. 423 sewer fund, that's truly an adjustment of an interest that our sewer fund is in flux in terms of our loans, because we have capped out our loans, so I'm estimating how much we will have borrowed by the end of the year, and I'm estimating how much we might need to pay. And so that's just a minor adjustment to the amount of that particular sewer fund, which is called sewer rehab fund. Any questions?
I
Are
do
there
have,
any questions for the vice director?
sorry, I do have one question. So the 12,000 that you're talking about, is that Grace's amount of money or the one, the assistant that she's requesting?
It is a person that's helping her, not officially, it's not Grace, and it's not an official assistant to Grace, but it's a person who has helped out when the need was over there to get a person restaffing the center rate below Grace without. So that's just plain and simple, a person going over there for the center.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions from the finance director? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bill. We'll move on to legislation number 11-22-03, a resolution authorizing and directing mayor and director of finance to enter into an agreement with the International Association of Firefighters, local 2860, AFL-CIO, for the contract period of 2023, 2024, 2025, and declaring an emergency.
A resolution for one guy's tax, we'll have to resolution. Like resolution.
Are there any questions for the mayor? Seeing none, we'll move on to legislation number 11-23-04, an ordinance amending chapter 155, employment provisions and compensations of the codified ordinances of the city of East Lake to amend section 155.01, general administration, section 155.03, holidays, section 155.06, sick leave to be cumulative, retirement provision, section 155.37, family medical leave, and section 155.38, insurances, and read as such and declare an emergency.
Thank you. That's to bring the non-union call 155 employees, in line with the union, contracts that they have been agreed to in this past year.
Any questions for the finance director? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to, we have legislation pending, we have legislation 11-08-04A, and ordinance enacting chapter 771 of the codified ordinance of the city of East Lake to prohibit the lease or rental of any low-speed micro mobility device, declaring an emergency. This will be on third reading. Any questions? Mr. Sutton?
Yes, ma'am.
Let's be clear, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
I said you know,
Again, you know, I'm not in favor of them clearing their streets and sidewalks, but I also don't think we should prevent the potential new business from coming in without them, without the business having a chance to listen to our concerns and what they plan on doing to address them. Part of the improvement plans for the Vine Street corridor was to promote multimodal travel and community from the city. If we prevent it in our city, currently Willard doesn't have an ordinance against them. It could be preventing businesses on Vine Street from getting potential customers and people traveling into the city. We probably would also look at being non-multimodal friendly, and usually one of those blocks preventing the fluidity between Vine Street board. As far as safety goes, you know, I think as long as they're not limited to around the streets and sidewalks, that should be here, maybe 90% of the problems safety related. I spend a lot of time in Fremont, and I don't really see them going into or use for criminal activity that much at all, actually. I think one thing we should do is look at ordinances to regulate the use of them. I don't really want to think kids riding down my street or something. I don't really like the idea of someone going 20, 25 miles an hour down the sidewalk. I think that's something we
because honestly, I don't want to really, put things all over the place. The only thing I will say, and, from our perspective, or my perspective right now is, if a business would come in, first of all, they'll call in and ask if we have any ordinances. If there was something that we saw that could be good for the city, obviously they come back to council and say, hey, this is what we can do, this is possible to do. Obviously, you can change legislation every meeting. But, I mean, from my perspective, I don't think it hurts us. Again, I think it's even when, I use the example when we had the, when the first, internet cafes all came in, and everyone was all up in arms, and no one had, and we worked through it. Same thing with medical marijuana. Everyone put moratoriums on everything, and we were one of the only cities that did, and look what we got there. And I think if someone would come and have a great business plan, I don't think myself or you guys would look at it and say, no, we're not. I mean, I'm for that you guys, passing this tonight. I don't know if that helps you in your deliberations for how you vote tonight, but again, after talking to Mayor Fiala, he's interested in this ordinance, pass it tonight, to look at it, to try to, honestly do something about it. Not that Hogan's not going to do anything. I think they're all going to do everything in the surrounding area. That's my take on it.
Any other questions, comments?
I want to echo, I don't want to repeat what Mike said, but, and I appreciate what the mayor said, even though this has been a hard thing for me, because I'm still, again, done delivering, because I've seen it in Cleveland, and it's just terrible. But I also don't want to, not give an entrepreneur or a business a chance in our community, and I think of my street and connectivity, so it helps to know what other cities are doing. So I appreciate kind of all the thoughts and that are going into it. I just hate seeing, like, completely no to something. I feel like I would rather see something with, parameters and give somebody opportunity. But I guess it's just my.
Anyone else?
Yeah, I just wanted to add, I had already spoken when I was looking into the different legislation with Lowell, and I know that they're planning on doing something the same way, putting it through their safety committee first. I understand what you're saying completely, I really do. But I think a lot of, and there are some big issues with it in a lot of cities. There's a reason why a lot of cities are banning them completely. But again, I'll let the mayor say as well, if it's something that is down the road, but you don't want to have it, you don't want to have line where another business come in, and then us have to backtrack and try to say, oh, no, wait, this isn't a good thing for us, and that business will look at us and say, well, why are you picking on us? This way, if we get it down, and then they come to us and they say, hey, we really want to work with you, and this is the plan, and we can make it work, whether it's the fencing or whatever, then we can look at that. But right now, getting ahead of it is, I think, where I'm going with it. I would just like to add one other thing, Randy, just noticed where it says, and maybe this is the right time to bring this up, I think it might be. When you read it, where you have it in here, whereas the low speed micromobility devices are relatively new devices, the device is defined as, there's a whole lot of devices in there. There's like 6 of them in 2 sentences. Maybe just clean that up or remove one of them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, if we're gonna pass it tonight in this third reading, we have.
Leave it as is.
I don't think we have to amend it, but if we just agree that we'll have a list of correct, third whereas.
Right.
Whereas is the legislation.
Right. Yeah, it just says devices.
Yeah.
Right.
They're really relatively new devices.
Okay. Thank you.
So as long as we just make that clear on the line.
Anyone else? That being said, this council committee meeting is adjourned at 7:15. Calling the regular council meeting of November 22nd, 2022, to order at 7:15 p.m. Mr. Cecilia, we have leaders on budget.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Here.
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 Here. Is there a motion to approve the agenda for the regular council meeting of November 22nd, 2022? Is there a second? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
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 Yes, the motion is carried, the agenda is approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the regular council meeting of November 8th, 2022? So, is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Yes.
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 The motion is carried, the minutes are approved. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of the special council meeting of November 15th, 2022?
So,
All right, we have a second. Will the clerk please call the roll?
yes.
Yes.
Yes, the motion is carried, the minutes are approved. Our next scheduled council of the whole committee meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, December 13th, 2022, at 7 p.m. with the regular council meeting immediately following the adjournment of the council of the whole committee meeting. Mr. Stockman, will you have a motion?
Mr. President, two seat appointments from Mayor Dennis Morley, civil service, term ended 12/31/25. Carla Hardy, 636 Haley Road, East Lake, Ohio, 495. And BCA, term ending 12/31/2027. Kathy Berry, 35941 O'Connor Boulevard, East Lake, Ohio, 495.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Motion are approved. We'll move on to committee reports. Our first report is from the Ordinance Committee.
Mr. President, first discuss changes to 155, some adjustments, some housekeeping, cleanup, some language that has years past, and changing non-union employees to union contracts. And that, close the question.
Any questions for Vice President Stock?
We also discussed regulations of chickens within the city limits, and working on that, that got moved forward to model those ordinance. Any other questions?
Any other questions, Mr. Stock? Seeing none. So we have a report for you, David. Well, we have, yeah. Any report?
Yeah, on the 17th, we did have a board meeting, with the employees where, their chairman met with the commissioner, mayor, and president, regarding their training equipment. So they're getting numbers on using training equipment. The boat ramps, the docks, the pool, the kayak launches are out. There is a red navigation light that needs to be repaired, and they are still without legal counsel, although John has a couple names right now. I'm going to provide.
Any questions for Mr. Summit? All right. Yes.
I know that you were gonna talk to the board regarding the Woody, our library, have you been able to?
Florida.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Seeing none, we'll move on to recognition of the public. Floor is now open for recognition of the public. My speakers, all remarks will be directed to the chair, will not call personalities, are limited to 3 minutes per person. 30 minutes long, we have one person that wishes to address council. I'd like to come up and state your name and address for the record, please.
Good evening, my name is Chuck Murphy, I'm the interim superintendent with Logan East Lake City Schools. My address is 1840 Houston Drive, Mason, Ohio. First of all, I'd like to thank you for this opportunity, and just wanted to come and first of all say thank you. We had a want to thank you all for what you do for our community, and hope it's, sometimes a thankless job, so it's much appreciated. But we appreciate the support that we've always received from the leaders in your city, our two chiefs, our mayor. They're very visible in our schools, very active, very helpful, and so this is an opportunity to say thank you to them and how much we appreciate them. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was just, we're also having a first annual seniors night out, and so we're trying to do our best to get that word out, but it's for our senior citizens, and it's Wednesday, December 7th, from 4 to 6 o'clock, and it's at North High School here in East Lake. And what we're trying to do is, first of all, it's an opportunity for our seniors to learn a little bit about our central office staff. So my entire cabinet will be there, and we're going to introduce ourselves and tell a little bit about what each of us do. We won't take long with that, because that's not really what they want to hear, but we wanted to not miss out on that opportunity. We're going to feed them, so that's, priority for me, I think it's a priority for many of us, so we'll do that. And then we're going to have entertainment. It's really an opportunity for us to show off the talents of our kids. We have tremendously talented students in our school district, so we're going to have some high school students singing, playing instruments. We also have some elementary students playing some instruments. We'll have some dinner music, and then our students are also going to have artwork on display for them to be able to see and enjoy. Some of our students are going to join us to help interact with the seniors, serve them, and then we're going to take them over from the cafeteria at North High School right across the hallway to our Performing Arts Center, and then we're going to have Northern Lights perform. That's our fantastic singing group at North. We're also going to have South Jazz Band playing while they're eating, and then lastly, we're going to finish up with the North High School play. It's just going to play a snippet of the play that, ironically, will be happening that weekend. So if they want an opportunity to see the rest of the play, we shoot them with that teaser, and then hopefully they'll come back and join us when they're comfortable and know where it's at, where they can sit. So it's just a first opportunity, hopefully many, that we're trying to reach out and just find different opportunities for the community that may not have kids in our school to come in, see what's happening with our schools, and get to know some of the fantastic things that our students do. So that's all I have. Any questions?
I met with Mayor Reddish and Miguel last week, we're going to be reaching out, talking to you guys. And Mayor Miguel in contact and try to set up something.
Perfect. Thank you.
Do you have a chance to send all that information over to you for the city website or?
Yeah, I think we have.
Do we have? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought we had, I wasn't sure.
Yes.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. No one else wishes to address council, so the clerk, please read legislation number 1122-01.
An ordinance to reappropriate city expenses of the city of East Lake, to appropriate city expenses of the city of East Lake, state of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2023, and ending December 31st, 2023, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate reading to read into law?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Ms. Craniac?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Cotton?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt? Mr. Temmett?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Ms. Craniac?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Mr. Cotton?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Temmett?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. The motion is carried. Legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 11-22-02?
An ordinance to reappropriate the expenses of the city of East Lake, state of Ohio, for the period beginning January 1st, 2022, and ending December 31st, 2022, and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate reading to read into law? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Cotton?
Yes.
Ms. Craniac?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Temmett?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Cotton?
Yes.
Ms. Craniac?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Temmett?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. The motion is carried. Legislation is adopted. number 11-22-03.
A resolution authorizing and directing the mayor and director of finance to enter into an agreement with the International Association of Firefighters Local 2860 AFL-CIO for the contract period of 2023, 2024, and 2025 and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings of readings? So, there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Oberste?
Yes.
Mr. Senick?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Oberste?
Yes.
Mr. Senick?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. Will the clerk please read legislation number 11-22-04?
An ordinance amending chapter 155, employment provisions and compensation of the codified ordinances of the city of East Lake to amend section 155.01, general administration, section 155.03, holidays, section 155.06, six leaves to be cumulative retirement provision, section 155.37, family medical leave, and section 155.38, insurances, and read as such and declaring an emergency.
Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate reading to reading? Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Oberste?
Yes.
Mr. Senick?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Oberste?
Yes.
Mr. Senick?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes, the motion is carried, the legislation is adopted. We'll move on to legislation pending. Will the clerk please read legislation number 11-04-A? This item is on third reading.
An ordinance enacting chapter 771 of the codified ordinances of the city of East Lake to prohibit the lease or rental of any low-speed micromobility device and declaring an emergency.
Progress, Mr. Clement? This wouldn't actually be an emergency, correct?
It can be, you don't need to wait for three readings, it can be emergency depending on whether passengers, the roads aren't there, then it comes up to three. And I'm gonna change, I'm gonna show to you a list of, that first sentence of the whereas reason, whereas low speed micromobility devices are relatively defined as urban.
Very good, okay. Just wanted to be clear. Is there a motion to suspend the rule requiring separate readings of readings? So moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
No.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Oberste?
Yes.
Mr. Senick?
Yes.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Is there a motion to adopt?
Move to adopt.
Is there a second?
Second.
Will the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Kranek?
Yes.
Mr. Katsounis?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.
Mr. Oberste?
Yes.
Mr. Senick?
No.
Mr. Meyer?
Yes. Motion is adopted, the legislation is approved.
That's fine.
5-2. Okay. All right. We have no unfinished business, we have no new business, we'll move on to our administrative reports. First, Mr.
Thank you, Mr. President. Welcome, Mr. Rosinski, to this evening's meeting. First of all, thanks for passing the temporary budget. I've been working with the chief and the directors on the 2023 budget, going over the wants and needs that I was asking them to send me. They were pretty good this year with the wants, so we'll go through that and have something obviously after the first year start the budget hearing. Also, the evening with Dan this Sunday at 5:30. I like to go on morning at 5:30 and then walk over to the fire department to start the evening festivities. We have some reindeer there that night, and looking forward to that. December 4th is the Chris Marketplace or Annual Market. Sorry, on the day. On December 4th from 3 to 6. I'd like to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. And lastly, request that we go into executive session discuss personnel in the long term. That concludes my report. Most of the questions.
Are there any questions for us? We'll do the executive session after we finish the administrative report, so they can have to sit here and wait for us.
Yes. Okay.
All right, we'll move on to our letter B,
Thank you, Mr. President. So I'm sure everyone's aware that Cleveland Fire Department is still line of duty on the freeway. I know that the situation pretty fluid on his memorial. So the way it was initially was there was going to be a procession through the downtown. That's changed. It'll only be CFD units that'll be doing the procession. So I'm not sure. I've been working with the mayor and our local approach. We're going to probably have some level of involvement with it. Having a fire engine down at the arena or whatever. So, and it's also a chance for us to go back and review our policies and procedures when it talks about freeway safety. You know, it's always that opportunity and tragedy to take a hard look at what we actually do. So we're in the process of doing that. I'm not with PC Kabasi, he's our operations officer. So we're kind of looking at it. So, you know, we see this, you know, the family in their prayers and. I take this opportunity to remind everybody too that when the roads get closed, it's a chance for everybody to slow down, you know, obey what's happening, you know, don't get antsy, don't get frustrated. We had to close Lakeland down today, and you know, it's a nightmare. It really, truly is. I know the mayor's down there, the chief Reichman down there, when I'm down there, and people are just angry. They get frustrated, you know, they speed and they can't understand, you know, and we have a situation where we have a large telephone pole that's got lots of electricity because there's businesses down there, and you got a gas line that ruptures and it's on fire right next to the pole. So that pole falls. So again, I know people get frustrated and upset, but I think that they have to remember that we don't arbitrarily go around the city closing roads down. And you know, we get great support from service because Kevin actually brings signs out. We post signs at 361 to say the road's closed ahead. So people will drive past that sign, so when they get to it at 337. You know, so I would just say, you know, remind everybody, especially if you're giving feedback to constituents, we don't arbitrarily close roads down. And if you see the fire engine, the police cars, the service cars down there, there's usually a reason. And we try to expedite it. You know, I know that the mayor's pretty vigilant about working with the county and stuff like that. So, you know, it's a good time for us to all reflect. We want to honor people like you know, the firefighter, you know, self-reflect a little bit about the fact that we need very university down a little bit. And even if you see an officer doing a traffic stop, you know, the law says you're supposed to scoot over, get out of the way. If you see a service truck on the side of the road, you're supposed to scoot over, that kind of thing. Anyway, I digress. I will say that I'm sorry that Mr. Murphy didn't walk away. The school district does a lot, and I don't think that sometimes that gets broadcast. You know, under his leadership and Mr. Thompson, they have a very we did a lot of work on coming up with policies and procedures for every school in the district. And it's catered to every school. Talk about not only what we do during the evacuation, that we have to reunify students, we have contracts with people. There's a lot of work that the district does. I know they have a crisis meetings and they have a crisis team. I know me and Chief Wright sit on in that group. So that they do a lot of wonderful things, and that's just not stuff that gets broadcast. I met with them this past week on a special needs student on some things that we were working out, you know, in case there's an emergency. And that gets down in the weeds, and that's the kind of stuff that these guys are doing at the district. And I think I always want to just get on top of the mountain and see how great of a job they actually do, how safe we try to make schools, and obviously we don't want things to happen. But I think that's a credit to the district, you know, that they're always constantly trying to change and evolve. And you can see that they're trying to do some neat things with involving seniors and elected officials and stuff. So the kudos to the group. And I think that at least on the interim basis, Mr. Murphy's going to do a great job. You know, I know we've always thought that we feel less to be really part of those groups to have those kinds of discussions. Because they're hard discussions, they're not easy discussions. And what happens behind closed doors, we have those things, I'm glad families don't have to hear because those are very hard discussions. But we're doing those kinds of things. But again, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. If you're going to deep fry turkey, make sure you do it right, fry it up, don't put it in within water on, take your time putting it in. If you're going to have bourbon in the garage while you're doing it, make sure that you don't overindulge. I recommend some Southern Rock and so on, brothers, or some Skinner that helps some of the turkey. Everything's good, but that's what we're okay.
Are there any questions, Chief? Thank you, Chief. We'll move on to our police chief there.
As always, he took off the safety forces minutes. As long
want to thank Carol Ann for helping get some things in the budget, so we get that all worked out to, help us get the equipment we need, and, really nothing else to report, so.
Any questions of the chief? Seeing none, thanks, chief. We'll move on to our service director, Kevin Sullivan.
Good evening, all. I really have to report this tonight is, the lot and sewer repair work is completed. I think there was about 25 weeks we had a major, routing job done on that line. And also the Vine Street lining of the sewer is complete also. And obviously we had our first, not our first, but a little bit of a winter event that I think went very smoothly. The police and fire cooperated, were very helpful, getting us out early enough, and everything went very smoothly in my opinion. And other than that, I'd like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, and that concludes my report. I'm open for questions.
Any questions from the service director? All right, seeing none, we'll move on to our city engineer, Ron Gordon.
Thank you, Mr. President, members of council, Mr. Mayor, please report, happy Thanksgiving to all.
All right, any questions from Mr. Gordon? All right, thank you, Mr. Gordon. We'll move on to our finance director, Carol Ann Chanel.
Thank you, I have nothing more to report, and, breaking news.
Any questions from the finance director? All right, well, seeing none, we'll move on to our law director, Randy Clement.
Thank you, Mr. President. The chief, one thing that's, I don't want to say pet peeve, because that understates my feelings and stuff, but if there's any resident listening that might tell family or friends, if you negligently don't pull to the left when an officer is citing somebody, or a firefighter out there, traffic violation, if you hurt them, even if you're merely negligent, and if you take your assault or take your manslaughter, remind your family and kids they will wind up in jail if they hurt somebody for not going left when the officer gives a citation of this kind of work. In addition to hurting them, it's my personal PSA.
Any questions for the law director?
I don't have a question, but I may just take a moment. I just really wanted to say thank you to the people that reached out to me with my concern in the funeral and gave cards and sympathy. I just really appreciate that very much. And happy Thanksgiving.
So I'd like to make a motion to adjourn into executive session.
Mr. President, motion to go into executive session to discuss personnel of the law department.
Second.
Second.
Please call the roll.
Mr. Fox.
Yes.
Mrs. Kraniak.
Yes.
Mr. Kuchar.
Yes.
Mr. Smith. Yes. Mr. Meyer.
Yes. Dennis, do you want to stay here?
Stay in
Let them
there.
leave. Can you stay?
Yes.
Yeah, just checking out.
You're right. I'm not gonna be there. I'm not. I got this thing. I'll let all of you do that. I'm gonna be, put my ear up against the door. I'm gonna snoop. Get like everything.
Someone make a motion to adjourn back up executive session? Sorry. Oh, yeah.
Make motion to return from executive session to the regular council meeting.
For a second? Second. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Fox?
Yes.
Mr. Overstreet?
Yes.
Mr. Katina?
Yes.
Ms. Kreniak?
Yes.
Ms. Schmidt?
Yes.